Hi, E2. It's Christy Worley, the Dean. We are at WQME radio station here at Anderson University, and we have a very special guest that we're going to be interviewing, Mr. Matt Rust. And if you know Jacob and Chloe, that would be their father. And he has a really cool job, and we wanted to interview him about jobs and career development for Career Month, and we thought it would be interesting for you to see actually what a live broadcast studio would look like from the inside. We're going to ask Mr. Rust some questions, and he's going to give us some answers on how you become interested in doing something like this and what you have to do to become an actual announcer for a radio station or broadcasting. Okay? So, Mr. Rust, welcome.
You can call me Matt, Christy.
Okay, all right. Matt. I will call you Matt. Thank you for doing this, first of all.
You're very welcome. This is cool.
We're excited. We think the kids will get a kick out of this and get an idea of what it's really like out in the working world and what they can be thinking about what they want to do when they get older. So just tell me a little bit. You work here at the radio station. Mm-hmm. How did you ever become interested in becoming a broadcaster? What made you even think of doing something like this?
How did I get the hook and hook, line, and sinker? Well, it actually started as it was a field trip in middle school. I was in 6th or 7th grade, probably 8th grade in middle school, and was in a shop class, industrial arts class, Mr. Shank's class back home, and he said, "Hey, we did the pine car racing things. We did that one week. We did the wood projects for wood shop, and then he said next week we're going to go to a radio station." So I was like, cool, a radio station, because I'd never been in a radio station. I listened on the radio, listened to it a lot, but never been there. And so we went to a station back home in Richmond, which is where I'm from, Richmond, Indiana, called K96, and the captain was on the radio that morning, and so he Mr. Shank took us there. We got to be in the studio with the captain, and then he gave us a tour when he was done later that morning of the station, and I was hooked. I just fell in love with it, and I thought, this is pretty cool. And so that's kind of how it all got started, was 7th grade, 6th, 7th, and middle school at some point.
And going on a field trip, that's great.
Going on a field trip, yep.
That's excellent. Well, so when you decided this is what you wanted to do on the field trip, did you try to learn about it through reading about it, or computers? Could you have access to figure out what?
But we didn't have computers then.
Oh wow! So you had to use books then and encyclopedias.
Well, it was turntables and records and the old carts that we used to use. But yeah, I came to Anderson University to study. Actually, I came to AU to study sports medicine. There's a whole nother. We don't have enough video here, but what happened was, came here, discovered the radio station WQME, was actually going to study sports medicine, be an athletic trainer, and got involved here as a freshman, took classes for sports medicine, took classes for athletic training my freshman year, and then I ended up going to broadcasting, declaring my major after my sophomore year at AU. And so I got involved here, and once again got hooked on it. Even though it was in middle school, it was the last. We had some video classes in high school and got to do some video editing, that kind of stuff. But we really didn't have radio type stuff. But everybody always said, "Hey, you've got a great voice. You ever thought about doing radio?" And I was like, "No, it's just my normal voice." And so. But yeah, my freshman year, my roommate and I came over, we auditioned. My first air shift here was Saturday mornings from 9 to noon. I grew up on a farm, and so I was used to getting up. No one else wanted to get up that time of the morning, and so that's when I started doing mornings.
Okay.
And but yeah, I got involved here, and then it just took off from there, and became, I studied it through high school, or through college at AU, majored in it at AU.
So can I ask you, to be in broadcasting, would you have to go to college for 4 years to get a degree in?
It's helpful to have that degree, especially today, because there's such a the market's tight. There's a lot of people looking to work in this business, and that's nice to have that degree. There's people that are in the business now that maybe didn't go to college, but again, it's a plus if you have the college degree. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you this: do you have a fun part? What's the funnest part of your job? What do you think the funnest part of your job is?
Well, the fun part of working here, I'd say, we do a lot of events and remotes at fairs and festivals, and we're in here quite a bit inside the station, and people are listening to us, but being able to go outside and meet the listeners and get involved in different events in the community. Working with the artists that we play, getting to meet them, getting to go out to lunch with them, dinner, having them here for a concert, backstage kind of stuff, taking the listeners backstage to meet the artists. Those are fun connections, and that's fun. And I enjoy, because what I do for the station is I program the station. And so what you hear, music, programming, whatever it may be, that's something that I've had my hand on, and so that's fun being able to program the station.
Okay.
For the listeners.
Great.
So that's fun.
Who's the most famous person you've met, or who was somebody that you were really like?
That wasn't on the list.
I know. I threw that one in there. Do you know anybody that maybe the kids might be aware of, or somebody that would be famous that they would know of?
When I worked in Indianapolis, I had a chance to meet Gene Simmons. I don't know if the kids are probably like Gene Simmons, but if they're familiar with Kiss, the group Kiss, Gene Simmons, Mr. T. I met Mr. T once. Was from the A-Team. Again, the kids are probably too young to know about the A-Team, but a show that used to be on TV. Charlton Heston. I actually talked to Charlton Heston on the phone. So I still count that as meeting him.
Absolutely.
I talked to him on the phone. Tom Brokaw. I talked to Tom Brokaw once on the phone. So those were some famous people that I've met, I guess. It's just it's fun meeting the artist and getting to hang out with them too. It's a lot of fun. So
great. I think that would be the funnest part, meeting some of the people and things. Is there anything that you would say, or any advice you'd want to give the kids about just being kids now, but thinking about their future? Any kind of advice you'd like to give them or suggest?
Well, hopefully there'll be a field trip that, like I went on, is something that will get them hooked on something that they want to do as a career later on, like my story. But yeah, just don't feel like you're not good enough, or it's something that's out of your reach. That there's always opportunities to get involved. Even if you go on to college, do an internship and do more than one, but try different places. And you could always go back home and go to your local radio station, let's say, but if you grew up listening to an Indianapolis radio station, which was kind of my story, and I thought, well, that's where I want to intern. So I went big, and I got in. Now, that may not always be the case, but always go big. Don't stay with the small town, but go to ESPN or go to NBC, the Today Show, or wherever it may be, and intern. Always go big, and you never know what will happen then.
Okay. Well, great. Is there anything that you don't like about your job, really?
Oh.
Sounds like you got a lot of good things going on there, but anything that you just don't like?
Well, there's a lot of, I get to work with the college students at AU because we have students that are coming through here. Not that that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. But because there's students and their opportunities that they have to work here at the station is great for them. It's a lot of hours. Long. There can be a lot of hours working here. A lot of late hours. I'm on in the morning, and so I usually get here about 4:45, 4:30, 4:05 in the morning. And I'm on the air till 10, and then people think, well, I go home after 10 o'clock. Well, no, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done, and I also teach classes at AU, and so there could be some long hours and weekends. I mentioned the fairs and festivals; those are always on the weekend, and so we're at those, and there could be some long hours and days at those. So it takes away time from being with the family and Jacob and Chloe, but so that would be one of the hard parts of the job is the long hours some weeks. So.
Okay. Well, would you mind if we kind of looked around
Yeah,
in the
let me
studio
give you a video tour.
And so we can see kind of what's going on in this really cool setup here.
So, Christy, this is the on-air. We're in the air studio. So this is Studio A at WQME, and so we have our on-air board, as we call it, and there's a bunch of faders. It looks like a Christmas tree lit up, but each fader controls a certain piece of equipment. The two monitors you see in front of you, we've got the left monitor. It's audio. We call it Audio Vault, which is our computer that all of the music, liners, commercials, jingles, all lives on computer, and that's all played off the computer. And then our website is on the screen on the right. But that's Audio Vault. Our weather forecast is on the clipboard there from Indiana's weatherman, Paul Poteet. Little plug there for Paul. So that's the forecast, and yeah, that's about it. It's with the computers these days, there's not a whole lot to it anymore. We don't have the CDs or the records that we used to, and so that's it. Yep.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it, Matt.
Thank you, Christy.
And thank you again.
Thanks for coming by.
I'm sure the kids will appreciate it. Maybe we can get a field trip to.
We need to have a tour here.
Yeah,
yes.
maybe have the kids come and take a tour. That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Christy.
it.